Merry Christmas, creatives. It is Christmas Eve, and we are going to draw some super whimsical, easy, anyone can join in, fun Christmas trees. This is an example, but you can take it so much further or even more simple. The very first step is just drawing out your different tree shapes. So we just want to get those triangles on there. You could even do the more whimsical tree shapes, but I'm going to stick with the triangles because they're easy enough for the whole family. And a lot of us have family gatherings today, tomorrow, and into the weekend. And so I want you guys to be able to do this with whoever is around. They can be at all different heights, all different sizes. Just kind of get them down there. And fill your page as much as you want. It does not have to be full, but I love a good Zentangle session. It's very meditative for me. So I'm here for it. And we don't have any family plans today, so I've got you guys. Hopefully somebody comes and visits me. That tree's way in the background. And it's short and fat. All right, so once you have the basics down, then comes the fun part where we can start to add patterns and interest to these trees. Now, one of my favorite is this guy here, where you literally just don't complete the tree. So I'm going to start with that one. And I'm going to use my Sharpie already. I think I'm going to put that one right up front. So I'm just going to outline my tree and then do a line across. Then skip a little space, outline my tree, add lines across, creating these rectangular trapezoid shapes all the way down my tree. The only trees you have to think about first are any of these that you might not want to complete the whole outline for. The rest of it you can just mindlessly do as you go. Oops, that line went a little high, but that's okay. This is foolproof. Like even if these lines touch, it just adds to the whimsy. They're not perfectly straight. I like it. It's like a ribbon tree. I feel like that one is going to be too wide to make into 1 or 2, so it's just going to be wide. And then because the branches aren't all connected, or the parts of the tree, I'm going to actually make the trunk disconnected from this guy. All right. I think that is the only tree that I'm going to do not connected. So I'm going to go ahead and outline the rest of these trees so I can start to add my details and patterns. Now, patterns come from all sorts of places in life. When you look at the tablecloth, when you look at the clothing that you're wearing, when you look at throw pillows, sheets, curtains, everywhere is a pattern. Even if you're looking at kitchen appliances, there are patterns within the dash, within the oven door, all the different places. So get your inspiration from anywhere you want, or maybe challenge each other when you're doing this drawing. Hey, everyone, let's do a tree that uses circles. Okay, and see how many different circle style patterns you can come up with, because there are tons, and not just polka dots, like so many patterns. And inspire each other to use that imagination and creativity and see what the whole family comes up with. I think you would be super surprised. just giving limitations like, okay, now let's do a geometric tree. And you can do something like this. Let's do a striped tree of some kind. That works too. One of my favorites is to use these Zentangle cards that I've created. They have the tangle on there, and then on the back, I've got the instructions for myself on how to do it. So this is a very fun one. I'm going to actually do this daisies onto one of these trees. Now this one, if you look, it uses squares. So to do that, I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to add squares. Move this out of the way so we can. So my cheat for doing squares is to use the width of my ruler to create the outline, and that's little. Now this ruler, this is from Staples. It's just a Staples brand. It has this indentation, which then I use to divide my squares up one more time and keep them even and not so wide. And once you do it once, you can just go off that new line to create it. What's everybody doing today to prep for a holiday? Are you a last minute Christmas Eve shopper? I mean, what's happening in your world? I have all my gifts done and ready. I even finished my last crocheted gift card holder yesterday. And so now today I'm drawing with you. All right. So it's showing in here that we're going to do these little curve lines from one corner of a box to the next corner. Like so. And we're just going to fill in with a couple more lines. And we're going to do this in an X pattern. So we're going to use 4 boxes kind of together. Some people, if you want this super small, you could do this pattern all in one box and just go to the center. I don't think that's going to show well on the camera, and it would take forever, which I love. I love when it's a meditative session, but on a video that might be a bit much. So we've got our squares, and then we have to kind of continue our squares. The ones that go this direction are diagonally going to go the same direction. So here in this box, it's going to go the same direction. And when you're on the edge of the tree, you're just kind of making it up, making it look like it continues. And that's okay. And then you're going to go to this box. The easy way to not have to overthink this is just to follow the pattern. And then you're like, oh, okay, so that one goes that way. So now these have to go here to finish the X. Okay, so this one has to go here to finish this X. And of course, if they're in the same column, they're going to go the same direction and make a line. Now we have to finish this X. And you can just kind of work your way around the whole tree. Now, you can look up Zentangles every time you want to do them. That's totally cool. I feel like as my brain is very distracted, very ADHD, if I pull up Pinterest and start to look for something that I want to tangle or a certain tangle, I'm lost on Pinterest. Forget it. Like, I'm done. I'm out. My brain is on my phone now and I might not do anything. So I came up with this method to create these cards just so I could kind of always have them ready. If that makes sense. And I don't have to get online. Now, I could totally leave this way. But I love how just adding a little bit of color makes it even more interesting. So I'm going to do that. This one. So all of the top corner. Let's see how I did this. That one will be on this side. That one will be underneath. Kind of like a fan. And you're just going to fill this in. The other nice part about doing this is it actually creates those lines into part of the work. Otherwise, you can just leave your lines in pencil. You don't have to do them in pen. But I like to use the lines as part of my design. Okay, so then this part you might have to think about a little bit, but that's okay. And if it gets off, it still looks cool. That's, you know, and obviously if you're new to doing drawing and patterning, start with something super easy and just leave it as the flowers or the daisies. Some of these Zentangles have great names. The people who design them get to name them. So they name them fun, quirky, whimsical things. I like drawing like, okay, so this one. Don't forget to follow the pattern on the edges of those that are going outward. Off the tree. And just for kicks, I'm going to add like a checkerboard down here and just color in every other square. I think this will make it interesting and connective to that pattern. And there's a super fun tree. I love it. All right, let's find another fun one. This is an easy one, doobops or debops. You literally are just making like little fireworks almost, drawing lines in different directions, and then adding the dots. So maybe on this little guy, I'll do this. So I'm going to make a dot wherever, create a few lines coming off of it. And then I'm going to add dots again on the ends. And then a trail of dots coming off of it, trying to make them get a little bit smaller each time, like so. And then you just start again. They can be more grass shaped, or they can be more fireworks starburst shaped. They just kind of look like cool lights. And don't forget to like change up direction. So you're filling in the space of your tree. And maybe there's like one or two coming off the edge that we don't see the rest of it, and that's okay. It's elsewhere. And that's just a cute, simple, quick pattern that you can do. This little, I call this one the olive tree. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to do that here. I also want to recommend that as you're doing this, you put different shapes that are similar, like squares and rectangles, separated and mix in circles so you don't have like a really heavy dark pattern on one side with a lot of black and white and then a really empty one all on the other side. We want to mix this up. So this open one versus this dark one. And so this one will be more open. So I'm going to put it next to that guy. So you just do a circle with a wider circle around it. There's no right or wrong. It's just, they look like little stuffed olives. They can be tiny. They can be very spread out, or they can be really close to each other. Try not to add the circles always on the same side. So you give a little one here that's at the top. This one's at the bottom. You don't want to get it where they're all exactly going the same direction. That just creates a pattern, and our brain likes the chaos of whimsy. Or our eyes do, I guess. Our brains really do like the calm of a pattern. I'm sure somebody who loves olives wouldn't mind an olive tree. The olive trees in Italy when I went last year were so beautiful. I'm not an olive lover. I do like olive oil. More so now since I've been to Italy, because their olive oil definitely stands out from ours. But I don't eat olives plain. Those trees were beautiful. I bought an olive wood gnocchi board so I could make my own gnocchi, which I learned to do in Italy, which is super cool. What girl doesn't love some potatoes? I don't know, but this girl sure does. All right, so there's a fun olive tree. Let's find a pattern that's going to come from the center and kind of work itself out. How about queasy? See if I can find my queasy. There's queasy. A lot of my students call this the monkey pattern because they think when it starts, it looks like a little monkey baboon's face. Kind of. I'll agree with that. So we start with 1 to 3 circles with circles around them. And then we're going to kind of create a shape around them again. And then we're going to go around that another time. And then in this ring that we've just created is where you're going to do stripes, or you can even color it in, which is what I'm going to do. So I kind of create this balance of dark and light. So on this one, I want to color in this section only. You could do it with a color. I'm going to leave my trees black and white. Aesthetically, I like that. But if you want to do it with a color, you could swap and do this part with a color. It's just going to make it a little easier for you to see what I'm doing. So that's why I'm doing it as I go instead of at the end. At least for this first time. All right. Then in these little indentations, you're going to add another circle with a circle around it. And it doesn't have to be in every little indentation. You can do 1 or 2 at a time. And then we're going to trace around everything again, adding those circles into this shape. So I'm going to go around. It's kind of framing the shapes that we have and growing it outward. Like so. Then we're going to do a frame one more time, and Dave is joining us. Let's move it, buddy. We're going to go around this one more time. And this will be the section that we color in dark. On the edges, you're just continuing as if it goes to the other side of the tree or even off the page, whatever you're working on. So the area that we do detail in is not the area where the circles are. It's the next round. A lot of times people don't want to add that second round, but that's the round that creates interest and lets you see where the new shape is coming from, with the other frame having little circles in it. And on the next round, I'll show you the trick of Queasy. You see how that little triangle there just gives the illusion that the pattern is continuing and not just going, oh, let's just color all the way to the edge of our line. Okay, so now as we're building this out, we need more distance this way and this way. So I'm going to put my dots up there and down here so that it works my design to where I need it. So at this point, you're just kind of, and I'll do dots in there so we know to color that in. Tracing around. And then going around it again. And I'm going to say all of this is going to be colored. So this is just a fun doodle. You could do this over and over again on a piece of paper. And the thing about Queasy is you can do a bunch of little ones, or you can do one giant one that just keeps growing into this massive circular blob cloud. Now, when you get to these tiny corners, you can definitely still add the circles. There are times that I do, and there are other times where I will just go like that and just allude that, okay, there's another ring there. And same here, like it doesn't need another little circle up there, I don't think. So I'll just do it like that and continue my pattern. And I'm going to leave the tree trunk plain. So that is Queasy. Again, you could also add like the stripes in there and it gives it a totally different look. So I love that. On this guy, I feel like I want to do some more candy cane stripes, I guess. Like in these. Just these tiny little double-lined swirly stripes that make me feel like candy canes. Even though we've already established I don't like the taste of candy canes, but I like the look of stripes. And I'm not worried about the upper part and the lower part matching up per se. They kind of naturally are, but that is not something I'm even thinking about. Again, see how it's like light, 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 dark, dark, and now this one's kind of an in-between. It's just got a little bit more line work. And so it's creating a balance of heaviness on the composition, which is helpful. You don't want it to be lopsided feeling where your head feels like it has to tilt because it's so dark and heavy on one side and light and airy on the other. All right. Another super fun one is this guy back here. It's so easy. It's ridiculous, but it looks pretty cool. You're making rounded squares and rectangles and overlapping them and just moving them around. And it just looks interesting. They're all different. And this one, I'm going to fill in as many until it feels like this weight of line. I could even go around each of these twice, like so, and give them a little more weight. I kind of like that. They kind of look like the paper chains that we used to make at Christmas time when I was a kid. And I could do some plain ones and some double ones. It's kind of either way. Some big, some little. And sometimes you're only going to have one coming on to the corner. It doesn't always have to be both. Maybe one more here. One more there. Sometimes I have to step back and look at it. I look into my computer screen a lot since I've got it on the document camera, but look at it through your tablet, your phone, or prop it up and step away from it. That also helps tremendously. I think the last one I'm going to do is going to be polka dots because I just feel like it needs another circle to kind of bring it down, like coming that way. And I'm going to do some really big ones that are colored in to create a darkness, but I don't want to be too dark because I don't want it to be as heavy as the one right here. I'm going to get slightly smaller. Maybe this will be like a kusama tree. Maybe bitty little ones. And I could totally just leave it like that, but I'm going to go with my smaller pen now and maybe outline the little guys. And then create just some more, now slightly smaller open circles to fill in the rest of the tree, but not give it weight. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I would love to hear if it does in the chat. And there's your whimsical Christmas trees. So much fun. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you here next, probably on the 26th, with another live drawing, and we will be on to new and quirkier things than Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.